Hi guys, this is namkraftvn. What's going on? Welcome to this is a Starcraft English commentary. How are you guys doing? This is still the weekend for me, but maybe it's not the weekend for you anymore. This is going to be a nice epic showdown between two of the highly anticipated players. I think all of you are either a Soulkey fan, or a Flash fan or a Protoss player. But either way, we're going to be having either a Terran or a Zerg champion this ASL. I think it's not going to be possible to have a Protoss champion because they suck. But yeah, before that ASL resume, I think not this upcoming week, but the week after that, we're gonna be having some nice game between a player who is not participating in ASL, Flash. Of course, everyone knows him, and after his wrist surgery, is he's not really kind of in the game. But today, he's gonna be gracing us with a nice game between him and Soulkey. This is gonna be played on the map Dominator. I might do a couple of games after this one. I'm not so sure exactly, so let's see how it goes. But for the time being, on this map on Dominator, looks like Flash is gonna be located at the 11 o'clock position. He's gonna be going for a forward barracks, and Soulkey has gone for a 12 hatchery expansion already. You can see on the minimap, so it's gonna be very, very troublesome for Soulkey here. His overlord is scouting in the right direction, but doesn't see where that where the command center is. He doesn't see the barracks, he doesn't see the supply depot, so he might think that his opponent is located at the 7 o'clock position, but that is not going to be the case. It looks like the SCV is already here. And I think he's possibly going to make a bunker right here, just right outside of the reach of the hatchery. But now he sees it. He sees it with the overlord as well. There's going to be 4 drones. This is not that many drones. This is actually very, very nice from Soulkey. We usually want to see a bit more drones, but now he's going to send out the rest of the need to attack the SCV. He's going to try to go for the bunker. You can see that he's going to try to surround the Marines first, not really attacking the bunker, but now he attacks. I feel like it should have been better just to start attacking right away, but maybe he doesn't want to get his drone kind of group up in a weird formation. He goes out and starts to chase the Marine. There are 2 Marines at the front door. There's a Marine at the back now, so there'll be 3 Marine. And look at how many drones does Soulkey have. Soulkey's got very few drones. I guess the question for Soulkey is that he thinks this is kind of an all-in. He thinks this is a very, very forward barracks, like a proxy barracks possibly, but it's not that much of a proxy. It is basically just, oh my god, 1 drone falls right away. These 3 Marines are still doing good damage. The Zelle is going to be coming from the low ground, and that bunker is going to cancel itself. The drone's going to have to force itself on the extractor. Go for the extractor, man. The extractor is right there. You can kind of glitch yourself towards the extractor, but anyways, 1 Marine's going to fall. Another Marine will fall, but the last Marine will be hiding behind the SCV. The SCVs are doing good body blocking, but now the SCV will fall, and that Marine doesn't die. The Marine dies, so the game's going to reset. Flash with 14 supply, Soulkey with 16 supply. I think more importantly, Soulkey has kept, how many drones? I think he lost 2 drones in that engagement, but now his Sunken's going to be coming up, so that's nice. So I'm going to take this chance just to check some information for you before we drive right into this game. We might have some nice series of games between Flash and Soulkey today. So the map, first of all, is Dominator. You can see that, and I'm just going to show you quickly what is Flash looking like. This is a flashy boy these days. This is a Photoshop version of him, not really the current up-to-date version, excuse me. But you can see his player card, right? Lee Young-ho. He is born in 1992. He's a very young player, respectively speaking, or comparatively to the other broodwar Casper Days players. He's 178 centimeters in height. You see very few drones from the first hatchery by Soulkey. That is 5 feet 10 inches his height in American standards. He used to play for the Casper teams, KT Rooster, everyone knows that, and he now is affiliated with C9 University, although he doesn't really play. He just commentate on girls playing. He's got a huge number of followers on Africa TV and YouTube subs, and that's very, very nice. And he's played in 9 ASLs only, but he's won several. He's won 4 of them. I shall show you that momentarily, but his latest first place victory was a long time ago, season 8. After that, because of the crypto scandal, he has not been playing. So that's what we have ahead of us. Let's get right back to this game. I'm going to show you some Soulkey's information momentarily, but it's going to be a voucher coming out to us, and it's going to be possibly a voucher drop. 3 vouchers getting, trying to get right into the Soulkey's main base. So that's going to be some problematic. Let's see if Soulkey's going to try to deflect it or not. He doesn't have any vision, as you can see on this other side of the map, to kind of check any drop. But there's an overlord right here. But I don't know if that overlord is going to be able to see or not. But let me try to get to Soulkey's player card and Soulkey's information before we actually have this drop here. So as you can see, this is Soulkey's photo. His current name is Kim Min-chul. His other alias a long time ago used to be Byuk. And he is 190, born in 1991. 33 years old. Looks like the drop is gonna come in. So let's put away the player card and the square photo to see how much these vultures damage can do. We're on 2 Hydras, 1 drone down, 2 drones down, 3 drones down. The Hydras don't have speed or range upgrade, but it's very, very good. The Zerlings are surrounding from one side. The Zerling have a great surround, but the Vulture is going to come to the other side as well. There are going to be a Sunken to support, but the Sunken doesn't cover this southern area. The Hydras have to wait for range. They have to wait for range. The dropship is still waiting in there, trying to do for some damage, and looks like this Overlord is gonna fall. Flash is just continues to come up with very, very genius builds. I mean, he surprised the world with his 3 Factory Goliaths builds, and now he's gonna be going for Vulture Drop. This is a 1-1-1 build with Vulture Drop and follow up with a Wraith. So already you can see Soulkey is severely disadvantaged. Out of 2 hatcheries, he's got a Sunken. These Hydras will be waiting for the upgrades. Looks like there's gonna be more Hydras morphing. The drop's gonna come, and this expansion looks like Soulkey is not responding. He's moving his Hydras as finally he's gonna move, but he needs to move these drones. He was slow to move the drones. He moved all of the drones now, and he will move them back and send them towards the good luck to mine more minerals and and gases. There's gonna be a cloak grade technology being researched now for Flash. Let's see how much he's gonna be able to do damage. Keep in mind that Flash only now has expanded. Of course, he's still a lot ahead in supply. And these vultures, I think, might be coming out to lay some mine. These double raids are doing good shot. 2 drone snipe right away. 3 drone snipe. And the last minute, these raids are gonna get pushed back. But these vultures are coming huge. Hot high wire. We're gonna be waiting for the Overlord speed, possibly because raids have cloak. Mine's getting laid down, and that is going to be buying so much time for Flash. He's going to try to drive these mine, and 2 Hydras have died right away, so Soulkey is completely disadvantaged by that situation. He needs to wait for the Overlord. There is no Overlord. He might actually make some Zerglings. There's going to be another drop. The Overlord speed complete, so this is going to be a kind of a race to the frontier. Flash doesn't have siege mode. He's going to try to drop the main, but he can do, I guess, possibly some... Okay, it looks like there's going to be a triple drop here. Okay, these are not a drop. These are just raid attacking the drones, but he comes through. He sniped 1 mine, 2 mine. There's still a lot more mines that he needs to repair. Where are the tanks? The tanks are way backwards here. There's going to be a drop, a drag into the SCV. He's going to try to get SCV. SCV will get 1 SCV, 2 SCV, 3 SCV. The tank arrived. The tank doesn't have siege mode, but number of Hydras have thinned out. Looks like there's going to be 0 SCVs remaining. That's going to be the end of the game. Thanks for watching, and this is what the next SCV. Bye-bye. Hey guys, this is Starcraft. What's going on? Let's continue on with the second set in the fight between Soulkey and Flash. The first game was very interesting. I'm not gonna spoil the results actually, so you can go ahead and scroll back and watch that game if you want, but it's gonna be the upcoming battles here between Flash and Soulkey. This next map is gonna be Polestar, one of the later additions towards the ASL. This map is very interesting, 4-player map. You can see the photo right here. This is Polestar, and so let me just quickly show you all of the map stats we've had so far. Cumulative map stats. So if you look at Zerg players, this is how they fare against Terran players. Usually they're kind of really sucky, these maps for Zerg. As you can see, Polestar is the least Zerg favorite map here, with only 39.3% win rate out of just a little bit over 100 games. And the map before that, Dominator, was not so good either, 43.8. But anyhow, the map will get a little bit better, and we're going to be having a series of games between Flash and Soulkey today. Let's see how things are going to progress. And I was looking at the previous what is it, the previous player card for Soulkey, but I do not have a chance to go through that. So let's go ahead and just quickly check that now. So first of all, let me just quickly show you Soulkey's face. This is him, and this is his player card. Kim In-chul, right? He used to play for Woonjin Star. Now he doesn't affiliate himself with any universities. He's just too good for that, I think. He just doesn't really do. I think this is correct, but if you find some mistakes in the player cards, let me know, because I'm still preparing it for the upcoming ASL round of 16. Anyways, his Africa's subscriber count is around 49,000. He's got 24,000 YouTube subscribers on his main channel, and on his out channel, he's got 1,500 subscribers. He's got 16 appearances in ASL out of the 18 seasons, and he's won 3 of them, which I show you momentarily. But for now, let's take a look at the the technological progression between these two players. Going to be having a quick rush to to lair here. As for Flash, he's going to be going for a barracks, and he's going to be walling himself up and trying to take some nice economic lead here. Almost looks like we are going to be having this overlap to see that there is no Marines getting created, and only now Flash will make a second barrack. He's making very low number of Marines. This is interesting. Usually, I think you want to make the first Marines right away from your barracks instead of going for the second Marines, the second barracks. I'm not so sure how much advantage that could be, because a Marine costs 100 and the barracks cost 150, right? So I guess if you go for a second barracks, you're going to be looking for a timing push here because you want to get that production, you know, get it a little bit faster. But anyways, this drone's dedicating itself to stopping the SV on the ramp, so that's very, very nice. But anyways, before the battle start, let me just tell you about the current situation in broodwar scene in Korea as of today. What are we? April 6 or 7, depending on where you live. But here are the top 10 broodwar players on April 6th. Snow is still number 1. Bisu is climbing up hugely after his, coming back from hiatus. The other player who also came back from hiatus that is really, really sucky is Stork, but Bisu is up there doing a huge amount of, I guess, favor to the Protoss name here, the Protoss houses. And after that, we're going to be having Hero, who's climbing up strong, and Queen, and as you can see, Jaedong is even above Soulkey. Soulkey's fallen hard. He's, of course, still in the top 10, but still not in the right form. Let me just quickly show you some other information. So here are some benchmark players that I show on the screen for you. As you can see, Flash is up there, right? But he's not in the right league with these other players, especially against Bisu. He's better than Soulkey and Jaedong, so that's good. But let me also just quickly show you something else. These are the winning rates in the last 30 days. As you can see, Flash is against Zerg. He's played 9 games and he's won 5 games. And Soulkey playing against Terran, he's played 12 games and he's won 9 games, so 75% win rate for both of these players. So that's what we have going ahead, and there's gonna be some Zerlings coming out now from Soulkey. He's gonna be taking the hatchery here, and he's got Zerling. Zerling with speed. He's gonna be trying to go and surround. He doesn't get a marine, and he doesn't even get a marine. He's gonna have to back up here, and he would need to make a sunken. But the good thing though is that Flash doesn't have visibility on the outside of the map. There's gonna be a firebat surround. This firebat is gonna be buying so much time. The marines have already started to put. And do we have stim? Yeah, this is a timing push for Flash. He gets 1 Zerling every single Zerling count, and Soulkey will need to kind of rush to sunkens here because his mutualist will not be early enough. Looks like the marines already started to move towards the top right. The drone has hidden itself from plain sight. He's gonna try to go somewhere else. Looks like Zerg is gonna try to come from the back, and Soulkey's made the right decision just to buy time and just wait and do, and go and make more sunkens or make another hatchery somewhere else. For example, this 530 position, is it a doable locations or not? I'm not so sure. These marines are going very far away from home. Zerg start to attack the sunken, but doesn't get any kind of damages done. So that the supply depot is gonna get repaired. So by the way, I'm gonna take this time to start to thank up my fans. Thank you, Matt Damon, Peter, C Goblin, and Alex. And Eric as well. Thank you for supporting us today. This music is going to start to come out, but before the music start to do some attack, let me start to give you some nice fan photos. So Zerg is going to try to surround them before that. So let's see what will happen. The Zerg is going to get in high ground. Looks like Mutualist is going to attack the sunken. Excuse me, the turrets will fall. That turret is going to be dying. Looks like the Mutualist is going to try to attack against the ramp here. 1 firebite has died. The Marines are returning, but the Marines are not able to get there on time, and these barracks have been completely busted. Do we have more Zerglings coming from the back? We don't see it. This drone is not making them hatching. These Mutuals need to do some sick damage on the barracks here. Looks like the SCV is going to try to repair the turrets. 1 more SCV has fallen. The Mutuals damaged. The Marine's going to try to stim, but a single stim Marine doesn't work. It doesn't work at all, but now there's going to be additional turrets at the expansion. So he's going to try to destroy the barracks. He needs to go for one of the barracks with his Zergling, not like attacking random barracks at the same time. He goes to, he's going to attack against the high ground. These Mutuals are really damaged, and missed shot from Soulkey. He's going to back up, so that's going to be the end of that. This Mutual is going to be backing out. So let me just try to continue on with my thanking business here. The next person I'm going to thank, I guess I thanked all of you already, but I'm going to show you my personalized customized AI avatar of all of you guys. The first person is going to be Eric and his wife. Thank you for your support in the last 2 days. What's going on? Did you go somewhere for this weekend? Isn't there Liberation Day or something like that in the United States? Did you go somewhere? Do you agree with Trump's reciprocal tariffs? Let me know. Did you buy some stocks in the last few days? Because stock markets are so cheap these days. I provide some nice stock prices for you if you want to invest in some indices around the world or some stocks. Go ahead and just take my advice and buy some stocks right now. The next person I'm going to thank is going to be Matt from the United States as well, and Mr. Peter from Sweden. Thank you very much. Mr. C Goblin from Norway, what are you doing, man? Are you back from, what is it, Greenland or wherever you live? No, just kidding. I know that you live in Norway. And the new addition, the new joiner to Fight Club is going to be Alex. Alex, I think you're from Russia. So thanks a lot for. I don't know. Are you from Russia? I don't know. Where are you from, man? Anyways, I just hope that you enjoy this nice customized photo of you that is designed by me. That looks like a girl, but believe me, it's not a girl. He's a man with a lot of boobs, meaning he's got a lot of like frontal muscles. So that is what you need to do if you are one of the StarCraft fans. You need to actually continue to work on both your chest and your brain at the same time. Welcome to the chess club. Anyways, it looks like these mages from Soulkey is going to try to come in, do some nice attacks, and the third base is up now while the Marines are out of position, and this is a great way to drive Flash out of the Hydra, out of the Lion Den. If Soulkey's got the Hydra Den, then Flash has got the Lion's Den. And now we're going to be seeing what will happen next. Looks like a single starport coming up. There's going to be 11 mages doing good damage, but this is a nice way, I think, for Soulkey to get back. I think I'm just thinking about this build generally in the long run. How does it really work? You know, when you're the Zerg player and the Terran player is trying to go out for that early third hatchery snipe, he might still do it again with more attack. These Mutas are doing good shot. He need to pull the weak Muta back and now just join all of them up together because the other one has been saving itself as well. But anyways, looks like there's gonna be Marine moving across the map. I think there's a single Marine Zerling here, or some single Overlord that sees these movement. These Marines are trailing from the back. They need to pull back and attack. The Mutas are gonna try to snipe as many Marines as possible. Good attack. The Mages might die. 1 Mages died, 2 Mages died, 3 Mages died. But now all of the Marines will fall. 4 Mages behind. That's a lot of investment in Mutualist, man. He should have just, I don't know, just wait for the Marines to cross a little bit towards his top right on the map and then attack and just allow the Mages to heal a little bit. But the next attack's gonna come through and this Overlord's gonna fall. He's gonna try to hide the Overlord behind. The Overlord will fall and no scanning. Very lucky that Flash doesn't know that there's another hidden Overlord on that side of the map. But anyway, so looking at the 9 minute, almost 10 minutes mark of the game now. Flash is 81 supply, Soulkey 63. The game is going on very strong. Looks like Vulture with speed there. It's gonna be a Lurker Egg blocking at just the right moment here, perfect. But the Mages, we need to go and attack and get these Vultures. Looks like there is gonna be Greater Spire and Defiler Mount. How does Greater Spire work? I guess you can attack against this open area here, attack from the back, or maybe you can try to come in from the top left as well with some Guardians and then move the rest from here. That might be one of the ideas that these guys have got, but there's going to be single starport. If they're double starport, it would be a nice counter to Greater Spy, but only single starport and mainly just bio. That is not good. Anyways, looks like these Mages gonna try to attack, and 10 Mages, now 9 Mages remaining. He will get the last of the medic here, and Soulkey is doing okay. I guess in terms of supply, he's behind Flash by a lot, man. But anyways, there's gonna be some Lurkers on the low ground. These Vultures need to back up now. They will try to destroy the Lurker Egg, which they will succeed or not. Mages gonna try to come out. These Vultures who need to leave, man. They need to leave this area because Mutualists are coming. Anyways, looks like there's going to be the Overlord coming out. Overlord don't have speed for now, but they will soon have speed. These Vultures are coming around and looking for some openings. We're going to be having massive Vultures. I don't really like this build from Flash. It's Marines and Vultures. You know, usually you want to go for example, a mixed build between Marines and tanks, or you want to go for something like, I don't know, massive mobilizer. Nice attack. Oh my god, Soulkey is a little bit slow to split his Mutas. Now he will split it, and he will lose that last Mages. These other Mages are so damaged. Just wait for the Guardian upgrade to complete and just go for Guardians. Do not engage in any more attacks. Okay, it's nice to come out and snipe another SCV. He's going to be very close. He's going to try to attack. We might have another Irradiate though. The Irradiate is almost here. The Irradiate is not looking this looks like the Marines are forced to returning. It looks like the Mutuals are damaged. They will back up. They will need to leave now. Go for the SCVs and leave. And okay, he's going to try to get the Command Center. No, the Command Center is not yet destroyed. And he's going to back up now. Nice Irradiate. And he will lose how many Mutuals? He's trying very hard. He loses not many Mutuals at all. These Mutuals will be able to morph into Guardian now. I think Guardians will need to be deployed. The Lurker is going to try to go. Have you ever seen Lurkers clearing mines? Have you ever seen Lurkers clearing mines? But I guess Soulkey's doing it. Anyways, his Command Center is going to float out and Flash is ahead by 20 supply. But I like Soulkey's position in this game a lot compared to the previous game, because he's got his 3 bases. He's got, you know, tech moving up. He's got Greater Spy. He's got Guardians. He's got Defilers. He even can make Queens later if he wishes to. But anyways, this is going to try to come around. And let's see if the Science Vessels will sense a danger. I think Flash has scanned and saw the Greater Spy, because if he wanted to check for the Defiler, he would need to scan the main. And if he scanned the main, he will see the Greater Spire. So that is going to be the situation here. Will Flash attempt to go for drop? I feel like drop is really not in Flash's forte, except for the first game he went for the Vulture drop. Usually around this time time of the game. The Terran player loves to go for bio drop, but I don't think Flash is that kind of a player. He doesn't like to go for bio drop. He likes to go for very, very precise, almost surgical vulture drop, and that's it. And just trying to stick with the basics and go for a huge ground army. But anyways, Command Center is going to come out, and these Muches are going to be hiding in the corner. Another Command Center goes down with a lot of Command Centers, and Flash is doing the usual transition to attack. He's going to try to use his vultures to slow down Zerlings and Hydras and Lurkers pushes, while he just tech up and get some tanks. Anyways, his Command Center possibly will fall. We might have an Irradiate. Very, very nice for the Muches to spread themselves out. This is the way to play Muta, not to group them up together when you're playing against Science Vessels. But that was a nice attack and premature Irradiate, I think, from Flash. He doesn't really need to have that Irradiate at that point in time. But anyways, the game's going to continue on from now. These fast vultures from Flash is looking very, very good. Coming out to lay some mines on the various positions on the map. We are seeing that the Zerg has got +1 armor. The mech forces for Flash has got +1 weapons and +1 armor. Okay, looks like the transition to mech is fully complete because all of the barracks have floated out and provide some nice vision here. Flash is expanding like a freaking insane god, man. 5 command centers. This is the way to play, man. I think Flash has been listening to Starcraft commentaries around the mid-game, 14, maybe 10 to 15 minutes mark of the game. You got map control. You need to expand like crazy. You need to, I miss you like crazy, right? That song from the Mofats. Who listened to the Mofats in the old days? Raise your hand. Anyways, Zelling's gonna try to go through, but Flash has got, if he has his 5 bases up and a huge amount of mines, I mean, this build from Flash requires a lot of APM. You need to be expanding. You need to be coming out there. And you need to also, oh my god, so many irradiated Muches, and now only, how many Muches remained? Only one hiding in the corner, and the Wraith will come out and take care of it at some point in the future, or maybe another irradiate, I'm not so sure, but Flash has got overwhelming amount of supply, overwhelming amount of lead here. But anyways, this Defiler is going to be very, very careful. The Defiler gets sniped. No, Defiler doesn't get sniped, but Soulkey is very close to Flash's main here. He will need to clear that mine with something. He goes with a single Zerling, he goes with another Zerling, but he doesn't get anything destroyed because it's just way too many mines. He could catch another Dark Storm. He's waiting on the other side of the map, and now Soulkey's got his 4 bases, but Flash has got his 5. I mean, this is insane. Can Soulkey come back? Usually, the Zerg can come back, but when the Terran players has got 4 bases and the Zerg players has got 4 bases, but now Flash has got 5, and he's already transitioned into mech, man. As you can see, usually when you play against Terran and their bio, and they have 5 bases and you have 4, you can still kind of win, right? Because you know that bios suck. Really suck against Defiler and Zergling's attack. But against Mech, it's a different story, and Flash has got everything in his favor. This last match is going to be falling, so I guess Flash just macro much better. But there's going to be a drop. He would drop what now? He would drop Lurkers or Hydras. He would drop a lot of forces. The Lurkers would deploy themselves a nice Dark Storm to kill all of the turrets here. The tank will be able to do some siege on that Defiler, but there's going to be another drop on the other side of the map as well, I think. Where's the drop? The drop is not coming. There's a drop. There is some forces waiting to catch these 2 overlords. There are going to be, what is it inside? Maybe Lurkers, and Soulkey is not turning back. He will lose his dropship. He will drop 1 Lurker, 2 Lurker. Those Lurkers going to try to go inside, but of course Scan is going to be deployed here. So those drops is going to get completely nullified. Flash 194 supplies. Soulkey 128. More Zone is coming through and destroying the center of the map, but Flash, I think, still got the situation under control. Playing Mech versus Zerg is kind of like trying to hold things together when you have to go to the bathroom for diarrhea. You try very hard. You almost reach it. Okay, we even have burrowed Zerling. That is insane. This is an interesting tactic here from Soulkey, and he would just wait for it, to unburrow them at a very, very timely, moment in the future. Some more Zone is coming to the minimap, and Flash has forgone to go for mines. When you play this kind of build, you need to constantly go for putting mines in the map. You need to micro and APM like crazy, man. But Flash is not doing that. Anyways, we're going to be having some nice attack. I would just feel like, it would be a lot better if you burrow 2 Zerglings and just go for 1 Zerling unburrow attack and let the Zerling die and come back with more unburrow later. That would be very fun. But now with Soulkey is going to be coming through with a lot of hatcheries. Can Soulkey still win? Because his crackling, Sauron Zerg mode is completely, getting into the full blow here. Ultra is on the map here. Nice attack in the map. This is some nice macro battle. What kind of upgrades are we seeing? More Zone is coming through, and looks like Flash is not able to control his diarrhea. It's his thing. These things are flowing and flooding and streaming through from all corners. He needs to get his act together. He needs to hold it. just hold it with his tanks and vultures and supply depots and turrets, and just, I guess, just wait for relief a little bit later. Anyways, now Flash got his 6 commands, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Soulkey's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but 4 of those bases are not yet operational. But now, oh my god, the Dark Storm died at the last minute. We will have another Dark Storm. Nice attack. One more Dark Storm. You need to go for one more Dark Storm, or maybe a Plague. Need to retreat now. The Defiler will cast Dark Storm all over everything, but he need to have one more Dark Storm right here. Within, you know, that is where the unit's gonna be coming to. But the last of the tanks has fallen, and those tanks exploded. How many tanks has fallen? All of those Zerglings have died though, and the situation got cleared out. I feel like these Dark Storm are not really the way you want to. You don't want to cast, you know, consecutive Dark Storm in the same spot that is so far from your supply route. You need to kind of cast a Dark Storm in the line, in the single line, moving from your main towards the enemy's expansion. Just like in World War II Operation Barbarossa by the German Third Reich, right? They stretched their resupply route so far. They were not able to resupply, and they were cut off in terms of reinforcement. So this is exactly what's happening in StarCraft right now. You need to cast your Dark Storm in a line, concentric circles, but all in a line, so that they will, be able to actually resupply without getting cut off in the middle. But anyways, these Ultras is buying some time. So the game will continue to go on. Nice attack on those vultures, and Flash is still ahead by about, 4 supply, 5 supply. But constant stream of Zerglings is looking very, very, very scary. Flash need to come out there and make more mines, because sending random Zerglings through the middle of the map is less APM intensive than actually having to place mines individually by the vultures. So yeah, let's see how much APM and how much multitasking Flash can do. But as you can see, Flash is slowly, suffering heavy losses in the middle. He's slowly suffering leaks to the cracks. Another Defiler goes through, but as you can see, this Dark Storm is not good. You need to put your Dark Storm near your Defiler first and slowly move them through the areas. Anyway, some nice attacking in the map, and Flash is still ahead by about 40 supply, but he's got the entire other side of the map, and the game will go down to the haywire here. More attacks coming through. A lot of Zerglings, a lot of Defilers. Looks like +2 weapons and +1 armor on the mech army for Flash, so it's gonna be very, very nice. Zergling's coming through now. He's gonna try to go for some attacks. He is about to get those vultures destroyed. Nice attack in the map, and looks like Flash still will contain a little bit here. These Zerglings don't have the support of Defiler. Just insane battles, but I think Flash can still hold it. For the timing, you need to keep on placing mines everywhere. This coral, for example, will be great, I think, great for for the Zerg army to exploit. As you can see that all of the both the players have great upgrades now. Zerg just streaming through. This is not the way to play. I guess this is the easy way to play, because it doesn't really cost anything in terms of APM, but you need to, just do it a bit. I think drop is a great idea. Why don't you, for example, drop your units here and then stream, for example, drop units at 11 o'clock position and then stream them through. It's going to be a lot better than dropping inside of the Terran main, because there's a lot of defenses, and it's also going to be better compared to trying to go to. And this is also a nice strategy to drop the Zerglings outside of the time, because there's not enough turrets and there are not enough Goliaths in the area. These Overlords we need to back up. He might drop more just to buy some. Ultra is going to try to come to this. Ultra will destroy some tanks, but it looks like those tanks have survived. They have largely survived. The next battle in the middle map is going to be looking very interesting. Soulkey will destroy some forces he goes through. He will clear all of the mines. Not enough vultures and mines. Those 4 beefy Goliaths are doing good shot. Defiler is going to get sniped though. Defiler casts a great Dark Storm before he dies. So these Ultras are free to reign this area. Need to destroy the last of the tanks. He gets the through time, but Defiler was sniped. The Defiler here was sniped, so no more Dark Storm in those group of forces, and they need to wait for the reinforcements. And more vultures come to. Keep in mind that these bases are brand new. There's no burrow technology. There's nothing. These vultures can do 6/6 attack, and yeah, for these new bases, you just need to make, you just need to make some Sunkens, or make a huge amount of hatcheries and just rally them right outside, so that forces will be coming out at whenever you have those forces ready. Anyways, these vultures are doing good shot, but anyways, so he's gonna come to the middle of the map. We're looking at the 22nd minute of the game. The game is still going on, but Flash is killing so many drones. He's killing Soulkey's economy, but the attack in the middle, how effective is it? He's going to try to cut Flash off right in the middle. This is exactly happened in Operation Barbarossa in World War II. This single Ultras will destroy that tank. That base has largely been mined out for a while, so Flash would not mind picking it up as well. He needs to make a lot of Sunkens. He makes 1-2 Sunkens, maybe not nearly enough, and Soulkey will be running out of minerals soon. Because for this kind of playstyle, Zerg will expend a lot of forces, whereas Terran will see out a lot better. But anyways, Mind Drag will be something that is going to be worth noting here. Mortars coming through, Zerglings, and without supported Defiler mount, Defilers, these Ultralists will get pushed back. Some Zerglings just buying some time as well. So I guess Flash is able to contain the area quite nicely. He need to go out with some mines once again to lay various mines on the various map. Soulkey's APM is very low, only 260. What is happening with Soulkey these days? Anyways, this huge drop might be something here. There's so many tanks. Our Flash's macro machine is completely rolling here. Even if Soulkey is able to get some forces out of those dropships, what can he do? Ultras and Zerlings will all be decimated by this attack here, and all these drones are forced to get evacuated. Even if the Defiler was sniped in the area, so that's not good. So Soulkey's going to be losing a base, but this drop might change the course of the game. He goes to the Defiler, is going to be able to cast something. He needs to cast a Dark Storm. He will get a Dark Storm. That was a nice Dark Storm. Need to go for one more. One more. He doesn't find it. He's gonna try to he sack all of his Zerlings on this other map, but he's gonna be able to cast one Dark Storm here possibly next to the factory. He's very slow to do it. At the last rate, all of these Ultras have all died, and that Defiler is possibly gonna load itself into the road. It possibly goes somewhere else. But Soulkey is sure to lose this game. I think he goes on to the hatchery, but he's lost also a hatchery of its own, and Flash is pushing back. Flash says, you know what? I don't need to advance too much. I just need to make sure that the bases that are closer to me get destroyed to starve you out, and that is going to be the way to play here. A single Zerling. We might have some Mind Drag. Oh no, it's going to be just a small splash damage, but not by much. More Zerlings coming through to attack, and these Overlords will finally all get wiped out. Command Center floats out, and Flash is advancing towards victory. His heavily upgraded tanks, mechanized unit move through, and Zerling's reinforcements, Zerling resistance is just too weak, too feeble, too faint. Why do we have lurkers? I mean, this is like the 24 minutes of the game and we still have lurkers. Maybe these lurkers were from before, I don't know. But anyway, Soulkey is forced to use his lurkers because lurkers is great because they cannot get splashed when they're burrowed, right? I think. Anyways, 4 Ultras gonna try to come through, but this base, okay, this is an interesting base. This base has been mined up for a while, so I guess Flash also doesn't mind losing it. But this base here, you know, that Flash is assaulting this 230 is really important to Soulkey because it actually doesn't have much minerals remaining. Anyways, nice Dark Storm, and look, attacking these tanks. There's gonna be some splash damage onto those tanks. This Nexus is safe. Keep that in mind. The Nexus is alive. And those tanks will be able to snipe out the last of the Ultras. The game is still going, but Soulkey is having some problems. I would say Soulkey, we need to make some Nidus canals in this late game because it really helped to channel his army even in against mech. I think the Nidus canals really work against all kind of Terran builds, even bio, even mech. You need to have Nidus canals because it's just so fast. So fast compared to sending out these random ragtag force into the map, and this might be the final battle here because Soulkey is just attacking desperately. He doesn't have support of Defiler. He just randomly goes out and throw away units, and Flash says, you know what, I think the end is near. I will come out and I will finish the last of the bases, but Soulkey is GG. Game 2 has gone to Flash's favor. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey guys, this is Namkraftvn. What's going on? Welcome to this is Starcraft English commentary. We're going to continue on with the third set in the fight between Flash and Soulkey, the old god and the new, and let's see who's gonna triumph here. So far the result is I'm not gonna spoil the result, but very exciting for the winner. He's proven that he is possibly the best player right now, possibly. And it's gonna be the next game is gonna be played on map Radon. Let me just quickly give you some relevant information before this game headed up. So first of all, here are the stats for the various maps for Zerg versus Terran. You can just quickly take a look at that, and Radon is a nice fair and square map, and here is the map photo. Let me just quickly show it to you. This is the map photo for Radon, and here are the players. So first of all, let me just quickly show you the incumbent, Soulkey, the Bonjour, the 3-peater in Starcraft. This is him in flesh and bones, or rather, yeah, flesh and blood, basically, because Zerg is all about blood. And that is going to be what we have going on. And his opponent, let me just quickly show you momentarily, but we're going to be seeing a nice quick expansion coming up from Flash. So let's see how he can perform here, because his opponent is very close to him, and it's going to be the Zerglings first coming out from Soulkey. Things will look very interesting in the upcoming battles here. Looks like for the time being, Flash doesn't have any idea as to where his opponent is located or what is going to be the next build for both of these players. Radon, the RAM is large, so even if he is able to get back inside his main base, it's going to be impossible. Ladies and gentlemen, this person here, this guy that you are seeing in the picture, Mr. Flash, is going to be facing the first defeat in this series of games here. Looks like the SV is going to try to come out and scout. He will see Zerg. He might GG instantly. Let's see GG instantly or not. He's checking, he's cancelling. No, he's GG right away. The third game goes to Soulkey. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hi guys, so let's continue on with the Flash versus Soulkey rivalry here. We're going to be watching the third set, no excuse me, this is going to be the fourth set in the fight between these two players, and so far the results is in favor of Flash. You can check out those games. This next set is going to be played on the map Metropolis. You can see Flash in the bottom left on the screen. On Metropolis here, going for a forward supply depot and trying to come out and let's see if he's going to try to go for quick command center, which is something that he often loves to have. But with these very close positions and the Overlord already starting to scout in the right direction, I wonder if that's going to backfire. We shall see. Looks like he's getting ready to maybe going for barracks. Yeah, as on this side of the map, it's going to be Soulkey with a quick hatchery as well. So things are going to be looking very interesting here. And let's see if Flash will eventually employ his famous build. Of going for a massive Goliath. Yeah, and as you can see, it looks like Soulkey is going to be going for 12 hatchery, going for scouting with the drone towards the top right of the screen. As for Flash, he's going to be going for 14 CC. The Overlord is almost there, but this time around, unlike the previous game, Soulkey will not have Zerlings to pressure Flash. So this is going to pay out very nicely for Flash, but the Overlord... Okay, looks like there's going to be a spawning pool. This is interesting because if Flash sees that there's no barracks, he might just not even put down the spawning pool and go for a quick hatchery. I think that could be good here. Anyways, this Overlord's going to try to check for the situation, and now he knows that it's going to be a quick expansion from Flash, so that's going to be interesting. Anyways, this map is Metropolis. If you don't know already, let me just quickly show you what this map looks like. There's Metropolis, a new ASL Season 17 map. And let's just quickly check the win rates on this map. Metropolis is very even between Zerg and Terran, but I wonder why, because I feel like on Metropolis we have this you know, this high ground behind your mineral patches here for the Zerg race, for example, and for the Terran it's going to be this area here, and those are very much exploitable for you know, for Zerg in the mid game. It could be for mutuous harassment. In the late game, it could be hiding a hatchery and hiding a Nidus Canal. So that's going to be something that we want to see. But anyways, this drone is being very annoying to SCVs to take care of it, and the drone is going to come out. Let's see if there's going to be another hatchery somewhere on this map, but it's going to be a quick lair. That's interesting. I feel like there could be a way for a player like Soulkey to punish Flash's 14cc by going for 3 hatcheries. And slow down his tech a little bit. Of course, he's got to be very careful because Marine will be coming out to attack here. But anyways, looks like there's going to be a fast gas coming up from Flash, which means we will not have, you know, bio build this time. It's either going to be factory and then Starport 111 build, or it might just simply be a lot of factories. His infamous rather build of massive Goliaths. So that's what we have. So anyways, before we get into the fights here, let's just quickly check some stats for fun. I want to show you guys these players' accomplishments over the years, especially in the ASL. So this is what you can see here. These are the best players in ASL so far, what I've accomplished. And you can see Flash is at the top and Soulkey is number 2. These two players are the best in their respective races when it comes to ASL performances. Flash with 4 wins, 4 championships, and Soulkey's got 3. Soulkey is going to be on his way to get the 4th one now. But of course, he will not yet tie with Flash because Flash has got 1 silver and 2 bronzes, where Soulkey doesn't have any silver. So that's that. But Flash will not be possibly playing in the ASL. Maybe not. And next season, he will not even play. We shall see. And I want to also show you the progressions of players in ASL. So I just put in here some benchmark players, Jaedong and Bisu, because they're doing really well these days. But as you can see, Soulkey has been in 16 round of 24, has been in 14 round of 16, 10 quarterfinals, 5 semifinals. He's been in 3 finals and he's won all 3. What a ridiculous efficiency from this guy. And as, of course, for Flash, he hasn't been in a lot of ASLs, only 9 round of 24, round of 16, and also 9 quarterfinal. And in the semifinals, he's been in 7, he's been in 5 finals, and he's won most of the finals he's been. I think he lost one to Effort or something like that, right? I don't remember. Anyway, so this overall is going to try to check for the, for the presence of another base. And as you can see, Flash is going to be going for his famous Goliath build, but it's double armory. What is the purpose of having a double armory? I guess he just want to upgrade everything like very hard, going for both armor and weapons upgrade. But this is going to be 3 hatch mutas coming out from Soulkey, and the spawning positions favor Soulkey. As you can see, he can directly access Flash's main base. And he can also try to go towards the expansion if he wishes. He's got free reign to go everywhere, but it looks like the Goliaths will be here, but there's going to be the add-on for the Terran booster. So these Mitches will have a hard time to fight against both Goliaths and turrets. Let's see where Soulkey decides to go for the attack. For the timing, he's decided to attack against the expansion. There's a turret that is a little bit way out there, and Flash comes to, Soulkey. He gets some SCVs, but he's also bleeding a lot of Mutilus blood here, and he comes in and he wedges himself between the Goliaths and the turret. He loses the first Mutilus. This is not very efficient the way that he's fighting, and he can no longer one-shot the SCVs. And look at how damaged those Mutilus are. He was so lucky that he didn't lose a lot more than just one Mutilus, and now he's gonna have to come out here and just hang on for a while. And expansion going up for Soulkey at the 3 o'clock position. Keep in mind, this expansion has got 2 openings. These 2 openings are both very wide. It's very hard to defend against, against Terran aggression firstly, but against mech, tanks can start to shell those bases from the low ground with just a bit of vision. If the Goliath can get on the ram, they can actually see, provide vision for the tanks. But anyways, let's see if we get to that stage of the game. Anyways, it's going to be 3 factories now coming from Flash. As for Soulkey, he's in a very disadvantaged situation. Like I tell you, Mutilus suck against this build that Flash is putting. It's going to be impossible, very hard. The Mutilus has, tried to recover some of the health, which is nice, but Goliath's going to be coming back now. Mutilus go through, and if they can find a weak spot, for example, start to kill off one turret and then retreat and then kill up another turret, he might have a good chance here. He's waiting patiently because he knows that some of his Mutilus are so damaged. You can see the Mutilus in the corner. This one right here was very much damaged. So he just need to pray to God that he doesn't lose that Mutilus. And yeah, third base is operational. There is going to be drones getting transferred. 2 drones coming up from the main and 1 drone getting morphed there. So he's going to make 3 drones to make the extractor. Okay, Burrow Zerling. This is something that Soulkey likes to use against mech. He likes to provide vision. When the Goliaths move out, he will move in. But I feel like you don't really need to wait for the Goliaths to move out when you want to move in. Because even if the Goliaths are at home, they're not fast enough to go and support, for example, the turrets. I feel like Soulkey just attack the turret, back out, and go away. Anyways, nice attack, and 1 Goliath is straying out there. There's gonna be some attack, and looks like this is a mistake from Soulkey. He loses yet another Mutilus. In the process here, Goliaths start to come out and start to hunt for these Mutilus. If Flash can start to cut off this area, then Soulkey cannot find a way to retreat his Mutilus. But nice Zerling to see these Goliaths moving around, and looks like Soulkey's gonna look to and try to find a weak, not really weak, but like a Goliath that is damaged out there. More Mutilus coming from Flash. This is 1.5 control group from Flash. He's gonna have to find those vultures and snipe it on, start to make some sunken something at his third base, because those vultures are going to be going towards the third base. Nice attack coming from Soulkey. He gets a turret, but once again, not one-shotting. He will get some SCVs, and he gotta have to back up now. And vultures arrive at the third base. Looks like Soulkey is not paying attention to it. He's busy microing, and looks like these Sunkens are not able to protect the vultures. The drones against the vultures. 3 vultures are still alive. They're really damaged. Another drone died. Wow, this is the perfect way to kill a Zerg player with mech. Goliaths defending at home, and some vultures coming out to go for harassments. And the last minute, these vultures gonna fall, but that was so much damage inflicted. And as you can see, Flash is now ahead by about a good old 20 to 25 supply. 4 factories, the 5th one coming up. This vultures, of course, going to start to come out, and Goliath defense is just so overpowered here from Flash. So if he's in the ASL, Soulkey's gonna have a very tough time to win his 4th consecutive ASL. But it looks like Flash is you know, Soulkey is lucky there. He just need to play against other people. But anyways, I'm just wondering why the other Terran players don't copy this build. I was looking at some DPL games, and I still see that some Terran players like Sack and Royal still just play Bio. I feel like this invincible build is good. But one thing I wonder is that, does this build work without 14cc, or you need 14cc to get that economic boost to actually, you know, be alive there? Which is the question I have. So if you have any answers, let me know. If you are not going for 14cc but barracks first, can you still do this build, and can you successfully win against Zerg in the late game? So that is the question. But anyways, for the timing, looks like, yeah. And one more thing I was mentioning to you, you know, for this build that Flash is doing, one of his weaknesses is lack of scanners, lacks of detection, lacks of science vessels in general. Nice attack to get a lot of SCVs. He needs to snipe that turret. He comes to, he gets another turret on this side, but looks like the one-shotting is not working out really well. He's destroying a lot of SCV. Good attack here. Looks like the counter-attack from Flash has reached the middle area. You can see huge forces accumulating at the border between these two countries, between the Soviet Empire and Ukraine. But let's see who will make the first move. For the time being, Flash decided just to hold out. Okay, he's gonna expand though. This is interesting. He's not attacking. I thought those are just Goliaths for offensive purposes, but he's gonna try to set up a base there. And this is very ballsy because it's so close to Zerg, but it works because when you are mech, you have tanks, you have turrets, you have Goliaths to cover. The tanks would just shell any kind of units coming from outside, from really far, and the Goliaths would provide a kind of attack, you know, a kind of anti-measure against Mutalists, against Hydralists. So this is working out really well for Flash. His third base is gonna be operational before Soulkey even planned down the fourth base. There is something here. Is that a drone or an overlord? I'm gonna say that it might be an overlord. Anyways, this vulture is gonna fall. He will come out here, and there is gonna be just an overlord. Soulkey is not taking that expansion. You can see his tech is not so good. He's building mass hydras. Of course, at some point in this game, you need to switch to mass hydras. Anyways, the Nexus goes down. There's going to be 3 more vultures coming out. They want to find and snipe that probe, but very lucky for Soulkey that he was able to get his probe, you know, already a drone, excuse me, into a hatchery, and those vultures have nowhere to go. They're going to go out and maybe wait for the drone transfer. This is a very nice trick from a Terran player, just to camp the vultures out and to find any kind of drones that are going for the transfer later. But anyways, that was a huge blunder by the Mutas coming in like that and damaging most of them. A tank will get repaired. The SV is out there to repair the tank, so I guess Flash will save that tank. We're looking at a almost 13-minute mark of the game now, and yeah, I think Flash is still heavily advantaged. Mutus goes through, and Hydra's coming from all sides. Mutus gonna try to snipe the tank. He gets 1 tank, he gets 2 tank, but now all of the Mutus would die. Hydras need to spread themselves out. Goliaths coming from the other side. This is an over investment, over commitment, I think, from Soulkey. He's losing so many Hydras. He needs to target the fire on the tanks. He still doesn't get any tanks destroyed. He gets 1 tank destroyed, and he's got to back up now, and he's 40 supply behind his enemy. That was a terrible engagement, and losing all of the Mutas like that. And keep in mind, these vultures are still hanging out here, trying to snipe any kind of drones getting transferred towards a new base. So that is something we need to keep in mind. And this kind of trick is just so lame from Terran to do this kind of tricks against any race. You know, it happens to me as well as a Protons player. You know, just some vultures camping out, you know, in the route between the expansion and the third base. Anyways, Hydra's going through. This is so narrow. This choke is so easy for Terran player to defend here. 3 tanks is enough, but 1 tank has fallen already. He's doing a moving shock, which isn't bad. But look at the heavily upgraded tank, plus 2 weapons and plus 2 armor. This last tank has fallen, but there's 2 more tanks at the back, and Soulkey is not trading efficiently. There's gotta be another way to play this. Queens, but do you have time to invest into queens or not? That's the question. Looks like there's gonna be some attack here. There's supply depot, but the tanks are gonna be able to protect from the back. The supply depot will fall. Looks like Soulkey decided maybe I should not move forward because there's a tank there. He will, you know, go back, and yeah, of course these vultures are going to try to do some damages here. But Flash is once again defending successfully. One thing that Soulkey could try to do is drop, but where can you drop, right? Because you can try to drop around along this area. But he didn't go for lurkers. The build that he went for is mass hydras. Oh my god, it's gonna be an explosion, possibly. No, it looks like at the last minute, that man's gonna get clear out, and Soulkey is gonna be able to saturate this space with something. We shall see. Nice scan. It looks like there might be a drop. He's scanning this area just right on the southern side of that expansion to see if there could be a potential for drops. But I feel like Flash doesn't really need to drop at this point. He just needs to make science vessels and A move and win. It's so easy to win at this point. Flash 320 APM and Soulkey 220. Soulkey is not really, fit for of a Starcraft repeating champion. Maybe he's he's hiding his tricks. He's concealing his trade from the enemy because in this golden age, not really golden age, but the post Gaspar's era. Any kind of move that you make in a live stream game gets studied and analyzed by the by the enemy, so you should try to hide some of it sometimes. Anyways, which is on the high ground. These tanks are not sieging. This gotta be some serious blow to Flash's economy here. If he loses this base, how many tanks will fall? There are still 2 tanks remaining, and looks like these switches get trapped and they get pushed back. They will come out here. They will try to find yet another set of Goliaths. He will try to find a tank, but he's unable to target and destroy the tank. He's doing some good shot, but the tanks live. The tanks are still alive, and so they will get repaired sometimes in the future. We're looking at 50 minutes and 40 seconds of the game. Flash 144 supplies, Soulkey 105. The battles are still raging on, and Flash is taking the fastest map base in the center. If you don't know already, this is the fastest expansion, meaning that the drones can get multiple drones can work on the same mineral patches at the same time, which is a very nice addition to Starcraft, I guess, to broodwar, to competitive broodwar. Look at this, these mutas are so clumsy, not able to one-shot anything, but they will come through now and they will destroy the turrets. He need to finish the turret. Why are you flying out to the open field? This area here is so easy to fly. This area right here, just fly into your main base and that's it. Anyways, this Goliath need to move back and Flash might lose. It looks like Soulkey decided to attack. This is a mistake. There are so many tanks. Look at how many tanks there are. These Hydras will just get eaten up alive. They just become all boilerhead here in the freaking, I don't know, burning pot. And that is GG. Thanks for watching. Let's move on to the next set. Bye-bye. Hey guys, this is namkraftvn. Let's move on to the next set between Flash and Soulkey. This is the 5th set. After 4 games, Flash is leading. And of course, this is expected because Flash is just a beast right now in TvZ. His records is insane. Let me just quickly show you the ELO scores if you've forgotten about it. Here, the top 10 broodwar players. And Flash, in the last 30 days, he has not been playing a lot of TvZ, but his records is 56%. And Soulkey against Terran is actually very good, 75%. So I wonder, is Flash just not playing a lot of stream games? Because in my recollection, he's winning a lot of games. So maybe one of the things that Flash often likes to do is just try out different builds. He doesn't really, he's not one of those players who just perfect the same trade over and over. He likes to try out different things, push some builds to the limits, see if it's possible, play it 5-10 times repeatedly in a row, and then switch to a completely different build and repeat the process, play it until you're bored of it. It's basically Flash's style of playing here. But anyways, this next map is going to be Eclipse, and looks like there's going to be a forward barracks now coming out from Flash, and this barracks is not super forward. It's very standard location where you would expand, but on Eclipse there are only 2 players, so Flash will know exactly where Soulkey is located, and he's gonna start to send some of his Zerg, some Marines over at some point in the future. This drone will see that he will need to find the he's gonna try to attack against it, so he's gonna say, can he take some shots against a Marine, and when it pops, that might be some potential chances for some kind of harassment there for the drone, but the drone is going to escape. And we shall see what will happen next. Let me just quickly show you the map stats as well as the photo of the map. So Eclipse is this map right here. And if you're wondering who are the players, this is going to be Soulkey, located at the bottom left corner of the screen. And just for completion's sake, I will just show you Flash. This is Flash located at the top right. And as for the player card for Flash, this is his player card. So those are the vital information that you want to have before any kind of games. But let's put those away for now. We understand exactly what is needed. And let's focus on this game. But even before that, I would like to thank my fan the 2nd time in this series for your support in the last 30 days. I love you guys. You guys are just really, really amazing. And some of you have stayed with me for like 3 years. I remember some of you, Eric has been here for a while, and Matt also maybe 1 or 2 years, right? So I'm just very happy that some of you guys have decided to have a long-term relationship with me, a distant, long-term monogamous. No, it's not really monogamous because I know you have other partners. But I understand. I completely understand. I forgive you. So let me just say my thanks anyway. These are the people who has made Namcraft possible. So let me just give a shout out one by one, Mr. Eric Clapton and his wife from the United States. Thanks a lot for your support in the last 30 days. And then Matt from the US as well. Thanks for your support. And are you having nice keeping missions, making sure that world peace is maintained? Mr. Peter from Sweden. I've never been to your country, but tall blonde is what I love. 90, 60, 90, right? And I think Swedish women have all of that. I think Sea Goblin from the Nordic seas, from Norway to be precise. So how are you guys doing? How are you doing? Excuse me. I'm not saying how are you guys Vikings doing, but of course it's the same thing. But the last person who's just joined the crew is Alex. What's going on, Alex? Are you from Russia or what? Let me know. And I need your Gmail address, so please email at gmail, namkraftvn@gmail.com with your Gmail address so I can record it down for prosperity. Let's get back to this game. Looks like Flash is doing what? He's gonna be going for bio. He's got his engineering, but no, he's not going for bio. Excuse me. What am I saying? He's gonna be going for 1-1-1 build. He's got the first barracks and then he's got a factory and he go for a starport. But now he's gonna be going back to barracks and switching quickly into bio. This is a build that sometimes we see. I feel like this build is not really advantageous compared to the 3 factory go lights push build, but I think Flash just want to try out different builds. He's not so concerned with winning. By the way, this is a best of 7, so whoever gets to 4 games first will win. He's already won 3 games, so he just need to win 1 more. And if he can do that, then why not try out some different builds against one of the best Zerg players at the moment. There's gonna be a quick, what is this, Queen's Nest? No, Hydrodan, what I'm saying. Why would it be Queen's Nest at this time? But anyways, which is gonna start to come out, but Zerlings are gonna try to check for the outside situation of Flash's base. This hatchery is very hard to scout because usually the Terran player don't scout here. They don't want to scan. They scan kind of near the ramp. And sometimes they will miss the creep, especially in the early stage. But anyway, Soulkey has got another base. On this map, you can take 3 bases relatively easy because the 3rd base got only a single entrance, and that entrance is a narrow entrance. It's not a wide entrance like Radion or Metropolis. Alright, what happened here? Well, how did these Zerglings get inside? They're gonna try to drive. I start to attack the turrets, and there's gonna be a Valkyrie that was way too close towards the Mutas. Looks like the Valkyrie is still alive. The Flash is doing good damage on this Mutas, but at the last minute, all of the Marines have pulled back, and the Valkyries will fall. They will fall or what? No, the Valkyrie is alive. No, the Valkyrie dies now. The Mutas damage as hell, but they will still live, and they were trying to recover their health. But Soulkey was very close to losing all of that Mutas at the same time, because if that Valkyrie has lived for maybe just 5 more seconds, it could do 2 shots. Oh my god, does the drone get trapped in the corner? What looks like that drone is indeed trapped in the corner. How did that happen? Because usually the egg is going to be on the southern side of the hatchery. We've never seen this scenario in which the drone is, popping up at the top side. But anyhow, looks like there's going to be some more attack, and this Valkyrie might do some attacks. Yeah, that drone is so lonely, the loneliest drone in the world. I mean, that is like the feeling of a disabled person, man. I mean, it's person with disabilities, or maybe with some mental retardation. You know that no one cares about you. You are kept in a corner, and people just say, "Oh my God, poor guy, poor kid," and they spend some time to stay around and hang out with you. But you know that they'd rather be with someone else, basically. So I really feel for that drone. Anyhow, looks like Flash is gonna try to go for a game-ending move here. He moves forward with 2 Valkyries and a control group of Marines, but there are gonna be some lurkers on the 3rd base. On this map, Eclipse, I don't expect Flash to be able to bust the Zerg's expansion nor the 3rd base, because it's so easy to hold. It's so easy to hold. But of course, you can try to win the long game, and I think on this map the real point of contention should be expansions. So what I mean is that Flash will need to expand quickly and just try to contain his enemy while he's expanding. For the timing, looks like that's a huge amount of Valkyries. 3 Valkyries is no joke. So if Soulkey knows what's good for him, he will stop producing air units and just switch back into Overlords and Hydras. That's going to be the better way to play here. The dropship comes out. This is an interesting idea. Of course, drops is always very useful against a very much deeply entrenched Zerg army, Zerg economy rather. But I feel like there's not a lot of openings for this dropship to exploit. I mean, if you look at the base of Soulkey, everything is covered in blue. There's not a lot of openings you can actually fly in without getting detected. And the bases are so closely knitted that the mutuals can just fly back and forth rather easily. Anyways, looks like there is got to be a group of, bio coming out here. And where's the dropship? I think the dropship is still at home. Commands that are coming up. Okay, this is going to be if there is at all a drop, it's going to be a very small drop. I think with just 2 vultures. And let's see how much damage he can do. But for the timing, Flash is kind of semi-contained. There's going to be some stop lookers. A single Valkyrie. What is going on with Flash's micro in that engagement? It was so terrible. But looks like one mutual is going to get sniped. And Flash might return to this middle area. But those lurkers are being very, very annoying. It's going to be very, very hard. If Flash scan, he can see them. But of course, at this point of time, he doesn't have science vessels. And he's using scan for something else. Anyways, Flash has decided he's going to move the rest of his forces back, and looks like those lurkers get chased away because the science vessels is available, and there's going to be some nice attack against those lurkers, but they're still on the high ground, so they're still very strong, and those marines are not supported with medic, and they fall very, very quickly. But anyways, this dropship with 4 vultures is going to get loaded again, and Flash is kind of really slow with his expansion. If you remember in the previous 2 games where Flash played, he was very fast with his expansions. 3rd base, 4th base, 5th base, bam, 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 just like that. And that was one key reason why he was able to win, I think. But in this game, he's going to be going for mech again. This is interesting, but this is going to go at the expense of a slower expansion. And I don't know how much difference it makes. Anyways, the command set is going to land, and as well as the drop is moving along this area. It is not yet spotted by anything. He's going to try to apply pressure in the front. Why the dropship goes in, I think. Yeah, for the time the dropship goes in, need to attack the front at the same time and cut off reinforcement. Looks like there's gonna be some Zerglings. Drones are running away. Vulture's gonna try to do some shot at lurkers. We need to unburrow, I think, but he's not moving an inch. But it's gonna be some attack against this area. But 4 lurkers are so strong. Looks like how many lurkers before? 1 more lurkers have died. But Flash's gonna back up now. He's only ahead by about 5 supply. More vultures getting dropped. So for a time, Flash has temporarily disabled 2 of Soulkey's 3 economy, 3 bases, and that last vulture has fallen, so the game is still going. This lurker walk into the minefield? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He will save that base from further harassments and back at Flash's home. We're seeing 5 factories and more. How many? What? 8 factories? Can you really be on 8 factories against Zerg, especially when you are Terran and you've already invested some money into bio? It seems kind of a little bit rare for me, but anyways, let's get back and let's see what's going to be happening here. Soulkey has come up with Defiler. This is Defiler off of 3 bases. I guess it makes sense because he doesn't need to invest so much money into gas-intensive units when he can just stay at home and defend things correctly. So I think his Defiler is a lot faster. These vultures are going to be able to escape fine. That is going to be no problem. But Soulkey is moving through the area and looks like Flash, you need to find that Defiler and snipe it. He does snipe it. The Defiler is going to be able to cast a single Dark Swarm, and that is going to be a temporary stronghold here for the Zerg player. And the second Dark Swarm is a lot better. This is what I mean when you need to cast Dark Swarm that are connected in a row, in a line like this. So that you can, have resupply route going through those Dark Swarm, which will be a lot safer than if you're just Dark Swarming the final destination, but not the route to it. Then units like tank can start to shell, forces, Zerglings, and ultimately before they can actually reach the Dark Swarm. Anyways, 3 base on 3 base, and I think Soulkey is kind of in trouble, right? Because he is not yet expanding and his army is already mining from the 3rd base. But one good thing for Soulkey is the presence of Defiler. He's going through. The vulture is going to try to get on the high ground. They need to lay more mines, but there's not a lot of leeway for Flash to work with here. It's a very, very short distance between this ram and his expansion. So he's got to play the perfect Starcraft style. You need to put a lot of mines. You need to make sure the mines don't splash onto his own unit. Hydras come through, and these tanks are doing good shot. Vultures need to come out here, in fact, and that's going to be a nice mine drag. Now looks like the Zerglings all died before the mines. could be driven into the tank, but nice attack at the last. These vultures are way too late to the scene, and these tanks, they need to unsiege and go towards the third base and try to defend from there. All of the tanks have died. All the tanks have died due to the supply situation. Plus 108, and Soulkey is still behind by about 15 to 20 supply, but he's pushing so close towards the Terran army. Terran is expansion, excuse me, and now the Lurkers will be within reach of the tank. They need to unsiege right now and pull back. One tanks will fall for sure, but those two other tanks is going to be able to siege. You need to repair it with some of the SCVs because they're damaged as hell. And these two tanks, you need to actually attack from the high ground. Do not go down to the low ground. Why are you on the low ground? Just siege on the high ground right here, because you can still reach any units from, you know, under the dark zone. Of course, you cannot do damage. You can only do smash damage. At the last bit, there's going to be more concentric brown circles coming through, and it looks like Flash is being cornered. If Zerlings get on the high ground, the game is GG. Why doesn't Soulkey put like a lurker right here at the edge of this dark zone? He can definitely attack the tanks very, very quickly with his lurker. For the timing, we're seeing the fourth base now coming up from Soulkey. Keep in mind that he's still allowing Flash to expand to the third base. So if Flash is able to survive this and weather this storm, he will be able to come back a little bit stronger with his, you know, superior supply and economic power. For the timing, Soulkey 83 supply, Flash 120. Soulkey once again is very close to Flash's expansion. We're going to be having another attack for the Dark Swarm here, and vultures are not getting produced fast enough to start to lay some mines in. They are laying some mines out, but these vultures cannot stop the Hydras from attacking the third base. There's a single Goliath. There's no tank. There are 0 tanks. Look at how quickly the SCVs are falling. Flash is still ahead in 40 supply though, but he's forced to lift his command center. All of these turrets will fall. That was slightly unfortunate, but of course, you know, such is life, and Soulkey has proven to us that he is possibly not ready for ASL, not against Flash. He might be ready against other players. Of course, Flash is not playing anyways. These Dark Storm keep on getting closer and closer, and this final Dark Storm is going to be on the ram. I think Hydras need to be under Dark Storm now because they're bleeding very quickly. Looks like the Divider is not casting anything, and okay, looks like the Divider will run away. One more lurker has fallen, and now looks like Flash has regained his expansion. There's nothing that will stop him to move out, but he needs to go and re-expand towards the fourth base, because now Soulkey, excuse me, needs to his third base with 1 o'clock position, because Soulkey now has come up with 4 bases that are not yet being, you know, assaulted with anything. No vultures, no direct attack. Anyways, Mooch is going to try to attack against the tank on the high ground. They get one, and it will back up into the, you know, into the unknown territories. Alright, we're looking at the 16-minute mark of the game, and Soulkey's economy is not doing so shabby. He's got everything, he got 2 everything chamber, Divider mount is done, and he's been casting so many Divider. By the way, it's kind of very late where I am, so I need to, at some point in the future, need to tone down my voice before my annoying and really strange neighbors start to have problems, and also I might start to talk gibberish at some point in the future, because my head is not within this game. It's already started my own dreams about something else that is not Starcraft. Anyways, it's like these tanks are doing good power, +2 weapons and +1 armor. They start to move across. They need to kind of stop any kind of Zerg forces from getting into this Dark Storm area, and looks like at the last minute Soulkey is going to get pushed back. He is not in a hurry to attack Flash, because he knows he's got 4 bases, and Flash is going to have to refloat his command center out, and that will take some time. And if Flash want to be extra sure, he need to actually build a bunker, or maybe create some more marines, or get some tanks on the high ground. But anyways, looks like Soulkey comes in from outside. Do we have a Dark Storm or a Plague? A single lurker saves the day. You need to go for, I think a Plague would be great. Why not go for Plagues? I think Plague is really amazing, especially against Mac as well. Anyways, looks like these Hydras is gonna eat a lot of splash damage. Flash finally clears out this area, but Soulkey with his 4 bases is looking very good as well. Even supply now between the two players. Keep in mind that with Mac, Terran play can afford to have the same number of bases as Zerg, because they are slowly taking up and slowly trying to gain an undisputable advantage, which is going to be siege positions. Anyways, the combined force of Hydras, Overlord, and Witches come out, and looks like now Soulkey might have just enough time to clear these tanks. Going to be very careful to clear all of those 5 tanks. The Mutrus, we need to go back. The Mutrus are still attacking those tanks, and the right side have been damaged from before, so they can really quickly fall. Yeah, these Mutrus are actually wasting a lot of time just trying to chase a single Goliath, but now they will come to a destruction attack against a tank. They try to find a weak tank. That weak tank has been targeted. There's a weak tank here as well. Maybe it's a future tank. I'm not so sure. But it looks like Soulkey will get 2 birds with 1 stone. He will get the science, the tanks. He might even get the science vessels. Mutas are harassing very nicely. And now Flash is no longer that much in supply. Supply difference is about the same. And once again, these vultures are saving Flash from total humiliation, because they just keep on coming out here and finding random bases without sunkens. You need to have 2 sunkens at all of your open bases like this one. Of course, when your base is on that, for example, at the 830 position, you don't really need to have sunkens. You just need to have 1 sunken, not like 3. But when you are in a base that is an open field like this, very hard. Anyways, the command center burns down, so Flash is in some bit of a trouble here. If you look at his supply, he's 10 behind, about 10 supply, but his main base has been mined out. He's not mining from that base, where Soulkey has taken yet another base. So Soulkey will be up 5 bases and Flash is down to 2. So Flash need to make a decision right now whether he will attack or just stay back and try to build up another command center. There's going to be the command center. Is it a floating command center from the main base? I'm not so sure. That would be ill-advised, man. I mean, I normally just would make another command center at this point instead of just dragging the one from my main base. Because yeah, 400 minerals is a lot, but you can use this command center for a lot of things like scanners. Anyways, more mutants come through. They were trying to find some units to destroy. They get some Goliath, which is great. They go inside the main, but there's nothing here. It's just some supply. They will go towards the 3rd base. The 3rd base will land now, but SVs have no protection. They are just running like naked kids on the street. You know, in my country, there's this famous photo of the napalm bomb dropped by an Agent Orange. No, this bomb was dropped by American soldiers on the Vietnamese foliage, hoping that the communist peasants or whatever, the instigators, the insurgents would leave. All right, what the heck was I telling you guys? I mean, I'm telling a story that doesn't really exist. Anyways, what's happening now? 20th second of the game. 20th minute of the game, excuse me. I've started to start gibberish already, and Flash is on the back foot. Soulkey is up by about 40 supply. Very nice situation from him and complete control. And finally, Soulkey will start to make some sunkens. He will need to have a lot of sunkens. He's got a lot of money. His money situation is not bad. He needs to start to make more sunkens, but Flash is gonna try to push forward now. He need to find a base to expand. I guess he will expand and attack at the same time in the 1 o'clock, which I need to put the tank at siege mode. That would drive most of these Hydras away. You need to unsiege the tank. The moment he siege, you need to unsiege. That's how fast you need to react, man. Because with the moment you siege, a good player will already escape with the rest of his forces, so there's no need to siege and stay there for a while. You need to siege and then just maybe you find 1 shot and then just unsiege right away. Enemies coming from all sides here. Nice attack from the Darks on that first forward tank. They need to fall back. And Goliath is actually not defending correctly. So I guess, yeah, that tank is going to try to go back and try to lay themselves in a nice circle. Alright, Soulkey is coming back to try to snipe some vultures. This is a good idea from Flash to keep his enemy occupied. Vulture trying to go towards the, the 5th base, but unsuccessfully. And the game is going to go on a bit more. Flash is behind by about 30 supply. Soulkey's done a name for himself. Keep in mind, this is only the 5th set in the series, and so far, Soulkey is losing 1, 2, 3. Not very nice if you ask me, but this Defiler will come through with some more attacks. I mean, I don't even know why Flash is holding this position, because we don't have a command center. So what is the purpose of holding it here? Just need to feign that he's attacking and then just unsiege and go somewhere else. Alright, floating command center. This will take the longest time possible to arrive in a new location, man. Alright, anyway, some Hydras are gonna try to attack once again. Defiler would consume some Zerlings. Need to go in right now and cast a Dark Swarm closer to these tanks. Splash damage from Splash is able to do so much damage against the Zerlings, and the Defiler would not cast anything for the time being. Those Lurkers are still attacking greatly, not reaction. Looks like the Defiler was sniped though, but more Mutants gonna try to come through. They're gonna try to snipe as many Goliaths as possible. 2 Goliaths falls very quickly. There are 3 Goliaths here, but those tanks are gonna get toasted. He gets 2 tanks for free. And he's gonna back up, and looks like now where's the command center? Look at how slow this command center is. It's so slow. It's still moving about halfway through. Anyways, and now that single lone vulture has died. The tanks start to move across the map, and Zerlings of course are cute. They will start to attack against random position, and now Flash can unsiege the backward tank and make a better line of tanks, because I don't think it's that efficient. These tanks, anyways, these tanks are so exposed. Massive mutants come through. Is there gonna be enough Goliaths to take care of these mutants? I thought that after the mid-game, Soulkey would not make any more mutants, but I was wrong. He keeps on making mutants. because he's just so good with his mutualist control. But now Soulkey's gonna get pushed back. He's ahead by about 50 supply now. Very, very good supply differential. But Flash is still slowly moving, encroaching towards Soulkey's bases. Keep in mind that Soulkey is not yet expanded in the bottom right. Okay, now we see that Soulkey is taking one of the bases in bottom right, which isn't such a bad idea. But some vultures are on the move. Squad to try to find any kind of lone drones or hidden expansion that is about to go up to start to snipe it. All right, some vultures moving through the middle of the map. We're looking at the 23rd minutes of the game, and Flash is on the back foot, but he's still got a chance to come back here. Nice Dark Storm to, preemptively attack and defend at the same time. These Hydras are gonna be eating up a lot of Storm. What the heck happened there? Did that mine die or what? Because I don't see that mine exploding. And yeah, Flash would just keep on sending his vultures to random location. He just needs to mine up the map a lot and make sure that the enemy cannot cannot move through freely. He looks like a small squadron of Hydras and a single overlord to spawn start to move across the map and just non-stop Darkstorm in those areas that is providing nice coverage for any lurkers under it. And this single definer is doing such a good job. Do we have drop from these overlords? I don't think so. I think it's gonna be very, very standard procedure. Just to kind of check and to see if there's any kind of hidden units under it. Well, I guess there isn't any except for the mime. Anyways, these tanks start to come out. And he will try to do a splash damage against the vulture. There's going to be an overlord circling drop on the tank though. Maybe it's going to be the case. The one lurker has died. And now the rest of the forces will move to... Is there a second lurker? I think there might be a second lurker. I'm not so sure. Okay, there is no second lurker. The tanks are sieging and slowly moving forward. But huge counterattack by Soulkey in the middle of the map. We're not seeing it right now. Looks like for the time being, Flash is going to have to pull back the rest of his tanks. This attack has been repelled. Looks like red, represented by Terran, is pushing blue, represented by Soulkey, a little bit back. And this is going to give the leisure to Flash to keep on moving with this side of the map. Here, this Defiler is not casting anything. Need to start to cast a lot of spells here. Alright, we're looking at 25th minute of the game. The game is still going on fair and square. Finally, we have Queen. They will cast 3 baby, baby queens or baby Zerglings on those tanks. And we might expect that Flash will GG soon because he will get cut off in the middle of the map. Some Hydras have reached his high ground. Of course, this base, I think by now, is also not really mining efficiently. We're going to be having some Lurker Egg. He's forgotten to morph Lurker Eggs on the high ground. But he comes through with all Hydras from the other side. That's going to be the end of the 5th set. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye. Hey guys, what's going on? Let's move on to the 6th set in the encounter between Flash and Soulkey. This next set is going to be played on the map Dejavu. I believe this is a, what is it? Is this a remade, which map? I think Dominator was the first map, so I guess this map has not been played yet. Because if you look at the map pool, I think there are 6 or 7 maps usually. Not counting Death Valley, which will be used in the ASL eventually, but I'm not so sure when. So here are the maps. So which maps have been played already? I think we played Dominator and Polestar, 2 maps. And then we played Eclipse, Radon, and Metropolis. Okay, this is the 6th map. I see there are exactly 7 maps in this ASL. So yeah, so far looks like Soulkey is having some trouble defending against Flash here, but he's got some streaks of geniuses as well, which has led to this eventuality. I'm gonna spoil the results now of the previous game. After 5 games, Flash is leading 3-2. Very, very nice results from him. And this map, what can we say about it? It's a mid-level map here for Zerg. Not good, by average, because 50% is what you expect to be, the standard, win rates for ZVT. But looks like this is just a lot below that, 44.9%. But it's gonna be a spawning pool. Oh my God, what happened to that drone? Looks like Soulkey will just wait and go back, and he's gonna expand now. He was about to take a gas, but he will expand. After this, and Zerg start to move across the map, but this is not a 14cc from Flash. He will have at least a single Marine, if not 2. And if he can defend correctly, then things gonna be good. He looks like yeah, you know, the current commentary was showing to us that this is narrow choke, which I think can still be defended with a single SCV or maybe two SCV will need to be utilized here. The Zerglings have arrived. There is going to be a single Marine, and that Marine cannot be reached by the Zerglings. They need to go through these SCVs, but by then, the second Marine's going to pop, and one Zerglings have died already, so it looks like Flash is going to be able to expand. He's got the money to expand, so Soulkey is already disadvantaged in this situation. He might as well just abandon this and try to find a snipe that scouting SCV. It might be better, but anyways, yeah. 2 hatcheries coming down now from Soulkey. He's got enough money. He might go for another expansion at some place, you know, somewhere on this map. The SCV returns to scout. I mean, you need to have a way to stop the Terran player from scouting your early moves, man. And how is that done these days? It's very, very hard because the Zerglings don't have speed. SCVs have a ridiculous amount of health, and so forth. Anyways, looks like Flash is gonna take gas now, and let's see if he's gonna be going for barracks and then factory, or he's gonna move into engineering bay, and then other things there's gonna get taken. So this map already, this game looks very, very standard from me, at least from the Soulkey's perspective. He's not gonna be going for crazy stuff. He's gonna be going for his lair. He possibly would take a 3rd hatchery inside his main. Dejavu, of course, in this spawning position, it doesn't really favor Soulkey. He's not gonna be able to assault Flash's main base without, you know, having to go through the expansion first. You need to go for the long route around this area and strike south. And this is something that you don't want to do when you are trying to find the shortest route possible to harass your enemy's main bases. Anyways, the Spires is gonna go down now. So very, very typical Spire timing. Drones coming out, but already disadvantage from Soulkey from making those 6 Zerglings and not having much ado about nothing here. Like I think this is a Shakespeare play, right? Much ado about nothing. He's got nothing to do with these Zerglings. Did one more Zergling die? No, I think the Zerglings didn't die. They just sniped on SCV, that's all. And where's okay, there's gonna be the 3rd hatchery. This location is rather dull, very, very lackluster hatchery location. Of course, it will help to spot any kind of dropships later, but I feel like that location could easily be spotted by the scanner. Of course, there's not much you can do when at this very, very high level. Everyone knows exactly what the other guy's gonna be going for. Nice Zergling hiding in the back here, and two Zerglings is gonna try to trail and lead this Marine towards his main base, and the other Zerglings will come back. Did Soulkey invest into Zergling with speed? That's the question here. And actually, Flash wanna make sure that his enemy has invested into Zergling with speed. The moment he knows that, he might retreat. But this is a small skirmish here. Looks like Zergling's gonna try to surround maybe a 5-bat or a medic or something like that. Looks like at the last minute that unit is reaching the other. I think that's possibly a Marine. Okay, that's Marine. That Marine has survived after stimming hard. So very good for Flash to deflect that, even though on paper he should have, you know, have a lot of difficulties because Zerglings are attacking from the back. But anyways, now we're gonna be having, what is it, 6 mutas or 5 mutas coming there, and the game of mutas versus bio is gonna commence now. Looks like engineering is done. We're gonna be seeing the first turrets at the expansion first, and then the choke, and finally the main. Looks like we have 2 turrets. Where are the mutas? I don't see them up. Okay, now I see them. How many? We can see 2 here, and then a little bit more in the back. I think for now it's about 4 mutas. The 5th one will join. There it is, 5 mutas, and yeah, Soulkey is not gonna have any kind of openings at all. The turrets are already kind of created, but he need to find the weak SCV. He need to go for the SCV that is outside. He had a chance to snipe it right away, but he doesn't snipe. And a miss shot, you cannot afford a miss shot against Flash. He will punish you. Every single move that you miss will be a problem, you know, especially when you're going for mutual harassment. So this just speaks to the caliber of Soulkey's, you know, skill level right now. I think sometimes these moves looks like it's being played not by Soulkey but by somebody like Hyuk, or I don't know who else would be the players that they play. Art User. Art User is a frequent player. Okay, huge amount of Zerglings. He's gonna possibly wait for the Marines to move out and try to go for a surround or something like that. Maybe he just drive the Marines into the main base and try to attack the front with the Zerglings, because there is a bunker. He's gonna come in right now. He's gonna try to get us around. Looks like SCVs are not in position. Looks like the Mutas are not attacking the bunker. What are you doing? You missed 2 times to attack. Okay, he missed a 3rd time, and that was terrible, wasting 5 or 6 Zerglings. for a single bunker. Why is he coming through again? There's a huge concentration of SCVs here, and he missed yet another shot. Looks like it's not gonna be Soulkey's day today. He's just missing way too many shots, and he comes through again. But look at how purple these muters are. At least 3 muters would die easily with any shot. He loses 1 already. He gets a turret, which is great. He loses yet another mutalist. He might lose more. He's overzealous in attacking these marines, but he needs to back out now. Why are you so stubborn? I guess he just want to win outright. He's making a lot of zerglings. This is a huge investment from Soulkey. Making this huge amount of zerglings doesn't really help him with his economy. He needs to be expanding. He might come again, but the bunker is already made at the front door. And nice team. Look at this guy. It's just so clumsy. Mutualist control from Soulkey. Why is he going so deep into enemy territory? He gets some random SCV building stuff, which is great. But what can he accomplish? Can he get out alive? There's so many turrets. He's going to try to attack as many SCV as possible. He gets yet another SCV building the supply depot. He will escape, but now only 6 mutuals remains in that group, and that overlord was very close to dying, but it will live. No, it will not live. The marines will try to snipe it. Zerglings need to come through. Looks like Soulkey was not paying attention, and he will lose that overlord. He could have just come in and tried to snipe those 2 marines, but now Zerglings are waiting on the outside. The mutuals once again going in, and Soulkey is still on 2 bases. He's going to be going for Queen's Nest. This Queen's Nest is rather, a little bit out there and very delayed Hydrodent. So delayed. Mutual is going to try to go through and get some SCVs, which is in a bad idea. He's going for the SCV building random units, building, which is nice. You want to see the slowdown of things like the starport, the science facility. And yeah, looks like the Marines gonna try to surround him from the southern side. If his mutuals get trapped, it's the end here. But they're still hiding very nicely on the high ground. They get a lot of medic. Another group of medic died. That's a slow shot, but he kills that last medic, and he's gonna back out. Only 7 mutuals remain. He's gonna try to get as many SCV as possible. And another mutuals have died. Only 6 mutuals remaining now. They're still doing good shot. Attack the medic. And Zerglings coming from outside. Flash. We need to hold right now. Zerglings gonna try to attack. It looks like Soulkey has found the right moment to get this bunker. The bunker doesn't have anything inside. Do we have any marines? Marines cannot get downstairs. Zerglings attacking SCVs, but now all of the Zerglings have died, and there are only 5 mutualists remains. Zerglings would try to get some SCVs, but no, the last minute things are gonna clear out, and the mutualists could do some good shot against the turrets. No, they're gonna be hiding in the corner. Only 4 mutualists remain. He's attacking random building. He gets the supply depot. Doesn't really help. He has a very healthy drone concentration, but his economy is not good. His tech is not good, and last but not least, his mutualists are not good. They all died. Now only 3 mutualists remaining, and how much more can this go on? Flash will surely come out and punish this guy. I think Hive coming up. Hive have just 2 bases, and finally the drone come out to expand. Flash is scanning. Where did he scan exactly? I'm not so sure. But now is probably the right time to scan the various bases on this map. But if he scanned the top left, he would not see anything at that time. He might see it now when he decides to scan. But we're going to be having marines and science vessels out. I mean, this is very basic now. A move from Flash. He moves across. He scans again. What did he scan? Not so sure which area was scanned precisely here, but for the timing, we will have some lurkers getting deployed. Without tanks, those lurkers will buy a lot of time, just slowing down any kind of marines and science vessels activities. Yeah, we do have a Scourge waiting here. And like I tell you, Flash is not a dropship player. He likes to go for vulture drop, sure, but he doesn't really go for a lot of bio drop. Even though the spawning position lends itself to that, you can see that Flash can easily access his Soulkey's main base with drops, but I will bet that Flash will drop 0 times this game. He's just not a drop player. He likes to go for solid big macro pushes. What's happening with that science vessels? I think he was trying to read it, maybe a lurker. Mutus, but anyways, Lurker's gonna try to contain Flash on the high ground now. This map, you have alright, nice attack. Something hit something there. I think a Scourge hit a science vessel, but still not enough to take it out. And Soulkey is trying to just win outright. What another nice attack, and these Lurkers are way too. What are you doing with the Lurker? What are you doing? He's gonna move back and save his lurkers. There are just a lot of lurkers, but we still have Zerglings. We still have a chance to go out on the other side of the map, because we know that on this map, in this position, there are 2 ways to exit, and this exit is gonna be completely open. But looks like lurkers gonna try to surround, and lurkers get deployed, and Marines gonna get pushed back, which is great here. It looks like Soulkey is gonna try to contain him from the high ground. He need to reinforce quickly. Yeah, on this map, if you can somehow establish a perimeter against a Terran player, it's going to be very hard for him to move out. But looks like he might move in. He's decided to move in, but with only 3 lurkers. Where's the rest of the lurkers? There they are. He's decided to cut his enemy into half. And these mutas, I don't know how long can they live. I mean, they've been there since the beginning of the game, man. But there's still only, 4 or 3 mutas remaining. He need to pick up one, the forward lurker. They're way too close. And what are the mutas doing? Not really being useful at all. Nice read it, and they get pushed back once again, and all of the lurkers have died. They will try to do a few more shots, but on the high ground is going to be Soulkey's positioned. Looks like more Hydras coming through. Marines are going to try to drive to the lurker contained here. Lurker very close to dying. The Defiler is there. How much support can he get? He's going to eat up a Zerg. He loses the Defiler. The first Defiler is gone. The lurkers get pushed back, and Flash has cleared the blockade at his front door. This other Defiler has destroyed, and Soulkey loses this set as well as the entire game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Buy me coffee. See you.